So in the previous class, we were discussing about hepatitis. What are the 5 types or 6 types of hepatitis that we discussed about? What are the types of hepatitis that we discussed about?
HAV,
Okay.
HBV,
Hmm.
and HDV. No.
हाँ, keep going. D के बाद E आता, उसके बाद F आता, उसके बाद G
Sir,
आता.
sir,
Hey.
we skipped HCV. No, I said.
हाँ. अच्छा ठीक है, एक ए वी रहती है, एक बी वी रहती है, एक सी वी रहती है, एक डी वी रहती है, एक ई वी रहता और एक जी वी रहता. ठीक है. दिस वन इज नॉट understood completely, but these 5 types are the main ones that we discuss about. Okay, GV के बारे में भी थोड़ा पढ़े थे अपन. Okay, what can you tell me about HIV? What is the incubation period of HIV? What does it cause? What type of disease
15
is it?
to 45.
Okay, 15 to 45 days is the incubation period. So what does incubation period mean?
After incubation period, symptoms, clinical symptoms.
So the
So
time
yeah,
period in between invasion of the organism or the pathogen and the time on which clinical symptoms are presented in the patient, that time period is called incubation period, wherein the essentially the pathogen is on a vacation in your home inside your body, and it is nicely proliferating without showing any alarming symptoms. Okay, so hepatitis A causes what type of disease? Is it a severe disease, chronic disease? क्या होता है एचआईवी में? Okay, so yesterday I told you that HIV causes a benign self-limiting type of disease. Okay, it's a self-limiting disease, meaning in time it will get cured itself. Okay, even if you do not provide proper treatment. If you give treatment, the patient will get better quicker, but even without treatment, that will get cured. Okay, main route of transmission is fecal-oral route. And which age group of people get affected more in this?
5 to 14 years.
Adults को नहीं होता.
No, sir.
Adults फैला सकते हैं?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
yes, sir.
Okay. If you look at the serological markers, what will you be seeing in the blood of the patient or serum specifically? What are the serological markers of HIV?
DN,
What do you see in the serum of patients who have HIV? Acha, whenever a pathogen enters into your body, how does your body respond? It will make special type of proteins. What are those proteins called? IgM. Okay, what is IgM? Someone just typed IgM. What is IgM?
Immunoglobulins.
Immunoglobulins क्या रहते हैं? Antibody. Exactly. So these are antibodies that are being produced by your body in order to counter the antigen. In this scenario, the antigen being HIV. So initially, whenever a patient has HIV infection, uh, upon the onset of symptoms, when symptom onset starts and acute hepatitis because of HIV occurs, that is when you'll start seeing IgM type of immunoglobulins present in the patient's blood. Eventually, what will happen is you will start seeing IgG, and IgG is the one that will give you lifelong immunity. All right. What about HBV? What can you tell me about HBV? What is the incubation
chronic
period?
disease.
It is also called serum hepatitis. Okay. So some people are typing it in as well. If you're not able to use your microphone, please feel free to type it in the message. Okay. There's one student who is typing, and that is also
Incubation
fine.
30 to 180 days.
Hmm. So there's a good chance that for almost 6 months you will not see any symptoms of HBV altogether. What is the route of transmission? Hmm.
Fecal.
IV, blood products, yes. Um, it can also occur through intimate contact between mother and child or sexual partners essentially. ठीक है, वैसा भी हो सकता, vertical transmission भी हो सकता. All right, it has an envelope. And one important thing about HBV, I told you, this has different type of genetic material compared to others.
DNA.
DNA, yes, this is a DNA based virus. dsDNA, ssDNA, double stranded. Okay,
Double strand.
all right, all right. It has an envelope and it has a double stranded DNA. All right. Um, is this infection more potent than HIV or less potent? As in more severe or less severe? Strong. Okay.
More
So
severe.
by strong, I okay, yeah, more severe than HIV. All right. What kind of antigens? What are the serological markers that you see essentially with HBV? Generally, ये लोगों को serological markers बोल के define करते हैं. Serological markers. So markers that will appear in the serum are called serological markers. Okay. HBS, what? HBS क्या है? HBE क्या है? Antigen है, antibody है. What is that? Antigen. Okay. So there is a HBS antigen and HBE antigen. What is the difference between them? So someone is telling that both of these are antigens. What is the difference between HBS antigen and HBE antigen? HBS appears after 6 weeks of infection. Okay. It will detection occurs after 6 weeks of active infection, and this fellow is a surface antigen. ठीक है, hepatitis B surface antigen भी बोलते हैं इसको. This antigen will be seen on the surface of that hepatocyte and disappears within 3 to 6 months. If it is persisting for more than 6 months, what does that mean?
It's been carriers.
The patient has become a carrier. Correct. All right. What about HBE antigen? कहाँ से आ रहा है ये HBE antigen? Derived from core protein. Okay. So this is core protein derived. What more can you tell me about core protein derived antigen? When will it be seen in your blood or in your serum? Okay, so HBE antigen is present transiently, मतलब कभी दिखता कभी नहीं दिखता, in between 3 to 6 weeks, especially during an acute attack. ठीक है, during acute attack 3 to 6 weeks okay time period में after symptomology starts, whenever the patient is having acute attacks, that is when you start seeing this HBE antigen. All right. uh, and if it is persisting for more than 10 weeks, it will indicate that the patient has chronic liver disease or and sorry they have become a carrier. All right. Other than this, one other serological marker that you can see in case of hepatitis B virus is HBV DNA. Okay, the DNA of the virus itself will start appearing in the this thing in the blood of the patient. Now this will be present in pre-symptomatic stage. Pre-symptomatic phase में transiently appear होता, कभी कभी acute acute stage में भी ये हो सकता. All right. What about hepatitis D? HDV. How does this fellow work? It will work by co-infection. Co-infection with what? And why co-infection? Is there any special reason why HDV is using co-infection or any other method?
HPV and HTV are going.
Okay, HBV and
Yeah.
HDV together cause co-infection. All right. Is there
Co-infection.
any reason why HDV is relying on HBV for co-infection?
HDV is less reactive than HBV.
Hmm. Okay, that is one way to put it. It is a defective virus. Excuse me. HDV is a defective virus which needs HBV as a helper. Okay, so one way it can infect humans is through co-infection. Co-infection with HBV. So what is co-infection and superinfection? Okay, what is the difference between co-infection and superinfection?
Co-infection is together, both of them
Hmm. Both of them
attack
are
together.
attacking the patient together. Okay. Superinfection and in co-infection, most of the patients recover. Okay. What is superinfection? Patient dies. See, ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते वो scenarios
Sir,
अलग बात है but what happens in superinfection? Yeah, Akansha, you tell something.
when the patient is already infected with HBV,
Hmm.
like chronically, and on top of that, he gets HDV virus.
Mm. So sometimes it might also be an acute infection. It need not be chronic, but essentially, yeah, most of the times it is chronic HBV. Okay. Sometimes it can also be acute, but if their luck is very bad, it will be acute HBV with HDV. But most of the times there is chronic HBV infection, which gets worsened, and finally they will get HDV infection as well. So one infection on top of another infection, or one infection after the previous infection occurs while the previous infection is still alive inside the person's body. That is superinfection. Okay, what is the fate of co-infection? What are the three fates of co-infection? What can happen with co-infection? Hmm. Hello. Majority 90% of the time, what will happen?
So they will recover,
Hmm. All
they
right.
gain immunity.
चलो जल्दी जल्दी करो, अपन लोग खाली रिवीजन कर रही है, आधी क्लास हो गई ऑलमोस्ट. Okay, 90% of the time patients recovers. Infrequently they will die. This death is because of fulminant hepatitis. Okay. या एंड वो 7% आप ऐसा वो लेके मत चलो. 7% मैं एक राउंड फिगर डाला था. इट कैन बी अप एंड डाउन अ लिटिल बिट. इनफ्रीक्वेंट बल्कि मैं मेंशन करता हूँ मोस्ट टेक्स्ट बुक में. ठीक है. रेयरली इट विल कॉज सिरोसिस. ऑल राइट. व्हाट इज फुलमिनेंट हेपेटाइटिस? Can you briefly define what is fulminant hepatitis? We'll discuss about it in a little more detail, but yesterday also I told you what is fulminant hepatitis. Bulke. Acha, ठीक है. Today we'll look at the pathological changes that are occurring in the patient. What are the different states that you can see a patient will face when they have hepatitis? Okay. So the first state will be carrier stage. Carrier state भी बोलते हैं इसको. ठीक है. Carrier state में the patient is asymptomatic. More often than not, they are asymptomatic. So sometimes they can be an asymptomatic healthy carrier, or they can be asymptomatic carrier with chronic disease. There are two types of asymptomatic carriers. Carrier state का मतलब ये रहता है कि they are not showing any acute symptoms. They are asymptomatic. And essentially you will have two divisions in carrier state. Some of them are completely healthy. They will have do not suffer any ill effects of the virus infection altogether, viral infection. They are healthy carriers. Okay. Whereas there will be a few carriers with chronic disease. Even though they do not show any symptoms outright, they are having a chronic HBV or HDV infection, sometimes even HCV infection, and they are able to transmit the organism to other people. One very important point is that HAV and HEV, HAV and HEV, these fellows do not have carrier state. Okay, so they will not cause carrier state. Okay, very important point. Most carriers are generally HBV, and especially those who have chronic disease. ठीक है, chronic HBV रहने की वजह से there is a good chance that the patient will become a carrier. Now asymptomatic carriers with chronic disease, they will eventually have cirrhosis. ठीक है, there is a good chance that patients who are HBV chronic patients, उन लोगों के अंदर cirrhosis होने का बहुत ज़्यादा चांस रहता. Okay, irreversible liver damage होने का चांस बहुत हाई रहता. Then we have another state, that is asymptomatic infection. ठीक है, now these patients, they will not show any signs altogether. As the name suggests, there will be no symptoms altogether, but if you check their blood work, you will find that their transaminases are high. What are transaminases? Transaminases किसको बोलते हैं? What are transaminases? They have something to do with your liver. Last year I discussed it in biochemistry as well, and I'm sure आप लोग physiology में पढ़े होंगे during when you were studying about liver. Okay, find out and tell me what are transaminases. Now, in patients who have asymptomatic infection, they will not show any symptoms, but their transaminases will high, and you will start seeing antibodies in their blood. Okay, that is how you know that the patient is suffering from hepatitis, but they're not showing any symptoms. Later on, what will happen is at one point of time, the infection will become so severe that they might have fulminant hepatitis or a more severe type of hepatitis, even if they had not shown any symptoms earlier. Then there is the third fate or third type, which is acute hepatitis. Now, acute hepatitis is the most common consequence of all hepatotropic viruses. Okay, all hepatitis viruses can cause acute hepatitis. Okay, almost all of them will cause acute hepatitis. Now, clinically, if you look at acute hepatitis, there are 4 phases present inside acute hepatitis itself. Okay, 4 different stages that are present in acute hepatitis. First stage is incubation period. So the patient is not showing any symptoms and the virus is dividing inside the patient's body. That is the first phase, incubation period. Okay. Now this will be different based on different viruses. The second one is called pre-icteric period. Pre-icterus phase भी बोलते हैं इसको, pre-icteric phase भी बोलते हैं इसको. Icterus, I'm sure आप लोग jaundice पढ़े जब. Icterus means jaundice. ठीक है, there's a whole Greek story behind it. I'm not going to go into the details of that. If you're interested, you can look it up on Google. But icterus is a condition. Jaundice को generally icterus बोलते हैं. Okay, so pre-icteric phase is the phase which comes directly before jaundice. ठीक है, यहाँ पर you will see the patient showing prodromal constitution symptoms. Prodromal constitutional symptoms दिखने लगते हैं. What are these symptoms? See, think of it this way. A patient is having HBV infection or HCV infection, whatever hepatitis का infection हुआ. That hepatitis virus is entering into your body, it is entering hepatocytes and it is starting to divide. Now, eventually it will cause hepatic damage. Okay, hepatocytes will get damaged, and once hepatocytes are getting damaged, they will start releasing chemical mediators of inflammation, specifically interleukins. You will start seeing IL-1, IL-6, tumor necrosis factor alpha, ये पूरे release होने लगते हैं. ठीक है, this is because of hepatocyte damage. Virus is coming inside your body, it is going to the hepatocyte, it is living in the hepatocyte, and it is dividing in the hepatocyte. Inside the hepatocyte, as it causes damage, chemical mediators of inflammation are released, and as a result, whenever these are released, the patient will have fever. That is the first symptom of preicteric phase. Okay, because of IL-1, IL-6 and TNF alpha, the patient will start having fever. Along with that, they will have nausea and vomiting. Okay. This nausea and vomiting is especially because hepatotoxins that are being released as the result of hepatocyte damage. As hepatocyte is getting damaged, hepatic toxins are also being released, okay, which should have generally been metabolized. Those toxins are also being released. These toxins are going to the emetic center in your brain. Okay. Whenever cells are getting damaged, those damaged products will reach blood. Blood to har jagah jata. These damaged products will travel to your brain as well. And in your brain, specifically near your medulla, you will have your emetic center, okay, your vomiting center. These hepatotoxins will go and stimulate that emetic center, and they will in turn cause retroperistalsis in your stomach. Because of this retroperistalsis, the patient will start having nausea and vomiting. Okay, so listen again very carefully. Initially, that virus is coming inside your body. It is reaching the hepatocyte and it is damaging the hepatocyte. Because of this damage, inflammatory mediators are released. These inflammatory mediators are first causing fever. Okay, that is the first part. Secondly, whenever this hepatocyte is getting damaged, they will release something called hepatotoxins. Hepatotoxins. These hepatotoxins have the capability of reaching your emetic center, which is present in your brain. Emetic center बोलते हैं इसको. ठीक है, it controls MSS, vomiting. So it reaches, these hepatotoxins will reach your emetic center, and they will cause, whenever emetic center is stimulated, it will cause retroperistalsis of your stomach. Because of this, the patient will start having nausea and eventually vomiting. Now, because the patient is having nausea and vomiting, they will not feel like eating altogether, and they will have anorexia. Okay. Along with anorexia, now if they are not eating anything, they will have fatigue. Okay. They'll start getting tired. Because of anorexia, the patient will start having fatigue, and along with that, they will also have malaise. They'll not feel well. General feeling of discomfort. Okay. And there is a specific condition that occurs in these patients, that is distaste for smoking. Okay. They will not feel like, generally no one will feel like smoking, but even if it is a smoker, they will not feel like smoking, specifically because of that nauseating feeling, that vomiting feeling. And these hepatotoxins can go to other parts of your body, especially to the joints. ठीक है, ये joints में जाके क्या करता, it will cause arthralgia, pain in the joints, and it will cause headache. These all symptoms come under prodromal constitutional symptoms. ठीक है, इन लोगों को prodromal constitutional symptoms बोलते हैं. This is the second phase of acute hepatitis, pre-icteric phase. ठीक है, इसको prodromal constitutional symptoms भी बोलते हैं. All of these, okay, because your constitution changes. So first, virus is going into your body, it is reaching hepatocyte, causing hepatocyte damage, where it is leading to inflammation. That will cause inflammatory mediators to be released, and eventually those inflammatory mediators will cause fever. Along with that, hepatotoxins are released. These hepatotoxins go to your emetic center in your brain, and they will cause retroperistalsis of your stomach, which will eventually lead to nausea and vomiting. Okay. Along with that, what will happen is, because the patient is nauseated and they are vomiting, they will have anorexia. They will not feel like eating, which will eventually lead to fatigue, malaise, arthralgia, and headache. Along with that, because of excessive amount of vomiting, there will be electrolyte loss. Okay. The patient will start having electrolyte loss, and they will also have weight loss. These all constitute prodromal symptoms. If you look at the patient's blood picture, you will also see transaminases that are increasing. ठीक है। जनरली अगर हेपेटाइटिस ए वायरस है तो लो ग्रेड फीवर रहता हो, ठीक है। Transaminases are increased in all types of viral infection, all type of uh, hepatitis virus infection. Prodromal constitutional symptoms में ही आता ही, ठीक है। So that is the pre-icteric phase. I hope you understood this. If you have doubts or if you want me to repeat it again, if you didn't understand anything, please feel free to ask. Okay. Now after pre-icteric phase comes the icteric phase. This is the third phase of acute hepatitis. So icteric phase में क्या होता? This is the phase of clinical jaundice. ठीक है। The patient will have proper clinical jaundice. You will start seeing bilirubinuria. Bilirubinuria. Urine will become dark in color. You'll start seeing bilirubin being excreted out of the patient's liver in urine. That is why it has become dark in color. And another problem is that the patient will have decreased amount of bile. Because of decreased amount of bile, urobilinogen decreases. So if you remember last year we had discussed about two pigments that are present inside your bile: urobilinogen, which goes to urine and gives its color, and stercobilin. Stercobilin is another pigment that will go to stools and give it its color. अब यहाँ पर क्या होता, because bile is getting obstructed, jaundice हो रहा and bile is getting obstructed because of hepatic damage, the patient will have clay colored stool. इसको एकोलिक स्टूल्स भी बोलते हैं, एकोलिक और clay colored stools. ठीक है। This is happening because of decreased amount of bile. As bile decreases, urobilinogen decreases. Because urobilinogen decreases, stercobilin also decreases. Urobilin and stercobilin, both of them will decrease. Urobilin कम हो गया तो जो येलो कलर है यूरिन का वो कम हो जाता, डायरेक्ट बाइल ही जा रहा rather than यूरोबिलिन जाने का यूरिन में. And stercobilin, as it is decreasing in stool, it will become clay in color, clay colored stools. ठीक है। This is specifically happening because of cholestasis. Bile is getting obstructed in certain pathways because your hepatocytes are getting damaged. Okay. Then, along with this, the patient will have pruritus, a lot of itching. This itching is specifically happening because of increased serum bile acids. Bile acids in serum increase. Acha, what are bile acids? There are 4 different types of bile acids, you know. What are bile acids? अच्छा, any 2 types of bile acids, 4 जान दो, or at least 1 type of bile acid. अरे बाप रे. अच्छा, find out and tell me what are transaminases and find out and tell me what are bile acids. ठीक है. Because these bile acids are increasing in the patient's blood, the patient will have itching, a lot of itching. ठीक है. Along with that, the patient will have nausea because they are having jaundice. They'll have weight loss. ठीक है. Abdominal discomfort. This abdominal discomfort is happening because of liver damage. ठीक है. Liver will become enlarged and it will become very tender. ठीक है. There will be hepatomegaly and tender. The liver will become tender because of all the damage, and that will cause abdominal discomfort. Specifically, what will happen is the patient will have right upper quadrant pain. ठीक है. So I hope you know what are the 9 quadrants of your abdomen. ठीक है. राइट अपर क्वाड्रेंट में पेन होने लगता पेशेंट को, एंड देयर एलएफटी विल बी कंप्लीटली डिरेंज्ड. लिवर फंक्शन टेस्ट will be completely deranged. Their serum bilirubin, transaminases, ALP, all of them will go haywire, especially in the last 1 to 4 weeks of acute hepatitis. जब होता है ये LFT deranged होने का, hyperglobulinemia, the patient's prothrombin time will significantly get increased. ठीक है. They will not be able to clot properly. ये पूरा will happen in icteric phase. So icteric phase has clinical jaundice, dark urine because of bilirubinuria, because of cholestasis wherein bile is getting obstructed. The patient will have ecolic or clay colored stools. The patient will have pruritus because of bile acids increasing in your serum. Patient will have weight loss and abdominal discomfort because of hepatomegaly and tenderness of the liver, causing right upper quadrant pain. Okay, and their LFT will become deranged. Okay, then the last phase of acute hepatitis will be post-icteric phase. Post-icteric phase is the phase of clinical recovery. So once the icteric phase passes, for the next almost 2 to 12 weeks, post-icteric phase or the clinical recovery phase will continue. Okay. In case of hepatitis B and hepatitis C, this will go on for a longer period of time, but more often than not, it will be over within 2 to 12 weeks. Okay. 1% of cases, 1% of acute hepatitis cases, they will become fulminant hepatitis. Okay, very severe form of hepatitis. And 5 to 10% of acute hepatitis patients, they will develop chronic hepatitis. Okay, so 1% of patients who have, so out of 100 patients who have acute hepatitis, one fellow will develop fulminant hepatitis, and out of 5 to 10% out of all the patients who have acute hepatitis, 5 to 10% will develop chronic hepatitis. Okay, so that is how you are you know that is the fate of acute hepatitis essentially. I'll discuss what happens morphologically, what is the damage that you see in the liver during acute hepatitis tomorrow. Okay, if you examine the liver under a microscope, kya dikhta aapko. After that we'll do chronic hepatitis. All right, I hope you understood this. Find out and tell me what are transaminases, and find out and tell me what are bile acids. Okay, type of bile acids.